Neuroscience shows that watching high-stress media, especially at night, can increase cortisol, mess with your sleep cycles, and trigger the brain to respond as if it's under real threat. Your brain doesn't really know what's real. And over time, this low-grade stress affects your focus, mood, emotional balance, and maybe even empathy. Why am I telling you this? Because I had a terrible nightmare the other night, and when I told my husband about it, his immediate reaction was, it's probably because we saw Squid Games before going to bed. That show is extremely low vibration. And that's why it kind of hit me and I couldn't unsee it. Not in a woo-woo way, but let's look at Squid Games, for example. It might be a brilliantly made show, but it is built on fear, tension, and betrayal. It's not just stimulating, it's emotionally taxing. It puts our nervous system in a constant state of fight or flight. I noticed something similar on this video by Apurva and Elnaz, where they're discussing their experience on The Traitors.
When I got out and I was crying and talking, it was also because of all the relief. The constant lying, the constant acting, and the constant deceiving of everybody in that show was very, very heavy on me. I came out and I had PTSD.
But I could not get that show out of my system for months.
Now that was while participating in it and filming it. But I also think that the energy of that experience passes on to us, the viewers, especially when we're consuming it for hours back to back. Now compare that to something like a Friends or a Schitt's Creek or a Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara or a Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani. There may be some conflict, some emotional depth, but it's all grounded in growth, connection, reflection. There's resolution, breathing room, and some warmth. That kind of content doesn't demand your nervous system to stay in overdrive. And all of that got me thinking that maybe sometimes the irritability or the mental fatigue or the emotional burnout doesn't necessarily come from life. It's probably coming from what we're consuming in the name of escape. This isn't about avoiding thrillers or dark stories, but if the content you're watching is constantly leaving you anxious or moody and heavy, it might be time to notice what you're letting in.